prepared to hire people illegally are not asking them for their national insurance card. So what's the evidence? What makes you think they're suddenly going to ask them for a digital ID?
We need to be really clear. You must have ID, mandatory digital ID, in order to work, because we have to stop illegal working. If you look at any of the raids, we've massively increased the number of raids on working premises. It is absolutely clear that people are working illegally in numbers.
But why do you think that them having a digital ID, having to have a digital ID, would stop that problem, when right now people are meant to have a national insurance number and card, and if they're not asked for that, a boss is willing already to break the rules? What's the difference going to be?
Well,
he could never answer the question. Those men are drunk by the wine of the papacy. They cannot tell you how it will stop the illegals, because obviously it's a deception. It has nothing to do with stopping the illegals from working illegally in the country. By the way, they are the ones bringing the illegals into the country by boats loaded with thousands of not women and children, but with just men, because those are Islamic militants. Remember, UK is supposed to be a Christian nation, so the idea is to squash Christianity there, putting into place the Pope's foot soldiers. It cannot answer that. But let's get to the bottom of the truth. Where is that actually leading? Listen.
Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
Well, the government says digital ID will be compulsory for everyone in the UK, but you won't actually have to use it, carry it, or show it to anyone unless you're applying for a job. The ID will be held on your phone, like the NHS app or a bank card, and it'll include your name, date of birth, nationality or residency status, and a photo, and possibly your address as well. By the end of 2029, you'll have to show it to your employer to prove you have the right to work in the UK. They could be prosecuted. The government says it will also make life easier when applying for services like driving licences, childcare or benefits. All European countries have ID cards. Some of them, like Estonia, have digital ones too. Identity cards were brought in during the First and Second World Wars, but they were abolished in 1952. Former Labour Prime Minister Tony Blair tried to reintroduce them 20 years ago, but the plans were dropped by the coalition government because of concerns about cost, privacy and civil liberties. Digital ID wasn't in the Labour manifesto at the last election, and the then Home Secretary denied looking at the idea last year. It's opposed by the Tories and Reform, who say it's a gimmick which won't stop the votes.
I do not see a single benefit to the government having digital ID other than them controlling what we do, what we spend and where we go.
Did you hear it? Other than them controlling what we do, what we spend, and where we go. That's what Starmer didn't want to say.
Liberties. Digital ID wasn't in the Labour year. It's opposed by the Tories and Reform, who say it's a gimmick which won't stop the votes.
I do not see a single benefit to the government having digital ID other than them controlling what we do, what we spend and where we go.
Employers already have a legal duty to check people's right to work. That doesn't happen in the black economy, and there's no reason that digital IDs will make that happen. If somebody's going to work for 20 quid a day in a kebab shop, they're going to do that, digital ID or no digital ID. Nobody voted for this. This wasn't in the Labour manifesto. And I think there are millions of people in the public who will say, I will simply not do this. This is un-British. We are not a checkpoint society. We don't carry papers, and we don't like this sort of thing.
A checkpoint society. What does that remind you? She said we are not a checkpoint society. We don't carry papers. What does that remind you of? World War II. Hitler. When the Germans demand to see your papers. That's what digital ID is. I want you to stick around with me, brothers and sisters. Again, as Daniel chapter 12, verse 1 says, there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation. We are entering this time of trouble. We are only 4 years away from the year 2030, and there will be even worse things taking place. As this year alone, we have seen Project 2025. We have seen some states in the US making push, even started to legislate some form of Sunday law. And then with the Charlie Kirk false flag event, you have the MAGA movement now, this new religion. And then you have many countries, as we are speaking, implementing digital ID in Europe, in the Caribbean, in Africa, even in the United States of America. Don't tell me that we are not living at the end of time. Don't tell me that the harlot woman is not fornicating with the kings of the earth at this time. These have one mind, and they shall give their power and strength unto the beast. While the beast's power, the Pope of Rome, is having his paganistic ritual, Laudato Si, pagan ritual, blessing the ice. This is a signal. Listen to me now. This is a signal of what is to come. Remember what he said? He's calling upon the government to implement more rigorous control over people. That's exactly what happened, what was published in Laudato Si, and then we had COVID-19. It's coming. It's upon us. You want to see a taste of what is coming? A real taste of what the digital ID really means? Well, let's look at China, for example. Remember, the Catholic Church tells us that China is a role model for Catholic social teaching, Catholic common good. Listen carefully.
10-year-old Manfei can buy a drink to go with a scan of her smartwatch. The family leaves a trail of digital footprints everywhere it goes. They're seen by companies as well as government agencies. China is among the countries collecting the most amount of personal data. The government wants to go a step further by implementing a ranking system of individual behavior. The project is already being piloted in the Yu family's home city, so they can collect points.
The better you score, the more advantages you have in your daily life. I think it encourages people to voluntarily follow the rules.
That's how the social credit system works in Hangzhou. Those who violate laws, like not paying their taxes on time or not paying back loans, have points deducted.
You have what deducted? Points deducted. This is what is called social credit score. And remember, it's based on your behavior, which is what Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 and 17 talks about, behavior. You will have the number of the beast, Revelation 13, 18, controlling your behavior. Remember, it is the number of a man, 666, the number of a man. A man was created on the 6th day of the week. It is man trying to play the role of God, controlling your behavior, even controlling your conscience. One more time, listen.
Works in Hangzhou. Those who violate laws, like not paying their taxes on time or not paying back loans, have points deducted. People are also penalized for making false statements in the country's COVID-19 app. People are rewarded for volunteering, staying fit through exercise, or using low-emission transportation. Donating blood also earns points. Other cities also reward organ donors, or everyday things like returning books to the library on time. But what precisely is collected and how scores are calculated is not transparent.
Controlling every aspect of your life. You have to be a good citizen. Well, stick around with me. I have a whole lot more coming up to show you what is happening. Now, we just saw the clip here from China with the social credit score. A digital world, which is a prison world, really. Now, notice this one here. The State Bank of Vietnam has deactivated over 86 that they can control for digital currency. The United States of America is the beast power behind all of that. Listen to this here.
In a world teetering on the brink of financial collapse, the U.S. faces a debt crisis that could rewrite the rules of global money forever. Enter the Genius Act, a bold legislative push to back stable coins with American debt, funneling billions from around the world straight into the Treasury's coffers. But is this salvation or a sophisticated sleight of hand designed to devalue currencies, seize assets, and tighten technocratic control? Critics warn it's a crypto rug pull in the making, with whispers from Putin's inner circle calling it out as a desperate bid to offload America's burdens onto the global populace. And look to Vietnam, already a beta test for the future where mandatory biometric IDs have led to 86 million bank accounts frozen or erased overnight. Coffers. But is this salvation or a sophisticated sleight of hand designed to devalue currencies, seize assets, and tighten technocratic control? Critics warn it's a crypto rug pull in the making, with whispers from Putin's inner circle calling it out as a desperate bid to offload America's burdens onto the global populace. And look to Vietnam, already a beta test for the future where mandatory biometric IDs have led to 86 million bank accounts frozen or erased overnight, all in the name of security. So is this the blueprint for what's coming for us, for our wallet?
Yes, indeed, that is the blueprint. They are testing that indeed we are living at a time, as it was prophesied in Revelation 13, but also a time similar to the time of Joseph. The money is failing. The money is failing. And when the money fell in Egypt, what did the people do? In order for them to survive, they sold themselves, their bodies to Joseph. Are you going to do that? Listen carefully.
How is this even legal? That's what I want to know. Are you recording?
Do you need help?
I don't know. Do I? What? So this is a reverse ATM. People come with cash and they can't use it. They have to come here.
Correct.
That's
a cashless building.
I have never seen a reverse ATM. So the idea is it works just like a regular ATM, but instead of putting in your card and getting cash, you put in your cash and get a card.
But also, because it's a regular debit Visa card, you can use it outside of the building.
Okay.
So if you wanted to go to Walmart or McDonald's or Target, wherever you want to spend your money, it's just a regular debit Visa card. That's what it looks like. And what you see is a lot of camper kids. Their parents don't give them a card.
No, of course not.
They give them cash and expect this to give them
I wonder. I think
they're 10-year-old have a card.
Well, I'd have to imagine there's a lot of people with accessibility, or maybe, different people who want to spend their cash and just are probably shocked to find out. Yeah, but they can't.
They just have to get a card and spend it.
It's crazy because it's like legal tender, but then I'm like, I guess not. I don't know. So, okay, so what do we do here? Touch to start. Okay.
You want to get a card.
We want to get a card. I mean, I don't want to get a card, but I'm going to get a card. Okay.
Well, remember, you can use it.
Wait, what was that? What was that? That screen? Did we have to put in our information? Is that? Oh, okay.
No, because at the end you can ask for a receipt.
Oh, okay. 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 Okay.
And it ate it.
There we go.
Are you done?
Did you catch that yet? This is a reverse ATM. A reverse ATM? A reverse ATM? Usually you go to an ATM machine for what? Most of the time to get money, right? You put the card inside and then it spits out money, right? Yeah, whatever amount you want, whatever the limit is, it spits out money. But the reverse ATM said now you put your cash in there. Do you see what's happening? Oh, the cash rather, off the streets. So you give the cash, then he gives you a card. Reverse ATM. Ooh, these are indeed the last days. Let's continue.
I'm done. Finished. Issue card.
Now, hold on.
Okay.
Take the card.
Okay.
Do you want a receipt?
Yes, I guess so. Yes. Yes. Now, why do people want a receipt? What is that reason for? Just
because people like to have a receipt that they know it's really $20 and it's not. Now, the other advantage that you have with this, there's no fee charge.
Okay.
And whereas if you go to a lot of debit machines, they charge what, $2, $5?
You see what the sign says there on the screen? You see what it says here on the screen? Convert cash to a prepaid card. And people are buying into this as if it's very convenient, right? You see how people are being deceived here? Convert cash to a prepaid card. When in actuality what they're doing is taking the cash off the streets. They want you to bring the cash voluntarily. You're bringing the cash to them, and then little by little the cash will be fading away completely.
Take out the cash? Yeah, okay.
This charges you nothing.
Okay. Wow.
And as you see, it's a regular debit Visa card.
Yeah.
It expires next year.
Okay. Amazing. Wow. Well, thank you so much for your help. I appreciate it. Yeah. This is fascinating.
This is an Orwellian nightmare that we are seeing right now. We are here, brothers and sisters. The dragon is exercising its power. And the people are wandering after the beast and worshipping the beast. In spite of the fact that we are seeing bold paganism in this place, like the Pope blessing an ice that came from Greenland, I think it came from, blessing the ice. So I guess that ice won't melt anymore, right? Because that's the whole thing. The ice is melting because of global warming. Now, by the way, that was an actual block of ice. And how do we stop the ice from melting? The Pope says we need to implement more rigorous control, more draconian rules upon people. Which power is behind? You've heard of the Genius Act? It's happening everywhere. By way of review, listen.
Of a backdoor to get that. So where are we?
Steve, let me explain something. In 1971, we went off of the gold standard. The Federal Reserve did that. And we went to cash, a cash society. And the value of the dollar has drastically gone down to the buying power is less than 10 cents now from where it was in the 1950s before we went off the gold reserve. What's happening today on July 17th in 2025 when no one is paying attention, no one's talking about it. Everyone is in blind rage about the Epstein files, and I don't blame them. However, right now, what is being voted on today in Congress is the entire setup, groundwork, and an entire infrastructure being laid to move from cash to digital currency. And the number one thing that is not happening today is a ban on a central bank digital currency. This means the ability for the government to take control of your digital bank account where all your money is and turn it off. And this is why I'm so upset and it's not being talked about. Steve, I was the only no vote on the rule last night. And Congress set a record last night, and no one's talking about that either. This was the longest vote held open for a rule in history. And it finally shut down sometime around midnight because there was a deal made, and the deal will not be honored. It was a deal that Speaker Johnson made, and he said that he would put a ban on central bank digital currency in the NDAA. But let me tell you something, that's going to get stripped out in the Senate because what they told us all week long is the Senate does not have the votes to pass a ban on a central bank digital currency. So I want to lay this out straight for you all. You never thought in your lifetime that the government would shut you down, would close your churches, would close your schools, would close your business. And that happened only a few years ago. But what is happening today is the groundwork is being laid, and it's all in the name of cryptocurrency and stablecoin. But it is the entire regulatory process to switch us from cash to a cashless society to digital currency that can be controlled by the federal government. And there will be no ban on a central bank digital currency. There will be no way to protect your ability to fully control your digital currency in the future. And I'm voting no to this today. I don't know if there'll be any other no votes on the Republican side, but I'm voting no to this because I'm a Christian and I've read the Bible and I believe what Revelations 13:16 through 17 says, and I just cannot vote for a future system that will do that.
And as the Bible went on to tell us from the book of Revelation chapter 13, verse 8, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. All that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. All, it says, brothers and sisters. Why? Because of the issue of buying and selling. People, as they have done in the days of Joseph, will sell themselves for food, for shelter. This is the reason why, in the wisdom of God, we were told long ago to leave the cities, go to the country, have enough land around you to grow your own food, to be fully self-supported. This is the mark of the beast crisis we are seeing taking place, shaping up before us right now. Those things have to be put into place before they enforce the mark of the beast crisis. If we are not prepared now, if we have not made the preparation, then when that time comes, when the legislation on the mark of the beast, Sunday sacredness comes, it will be too late for some of us. Spirit prophecy went on to tell us here, the third angel's message has been sent forth to the world, warning men against receiving the mark of the beast or of his image in their foreheads or in their right hands or in their hands. To receive this mark means to come to the same decision as the beast. Well,
We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens. Hillary Clinton, all talk. Unfortunately, when there is action, it's always the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
Announcement, healthcare providers across the country will also finally be able to kill the clipboard. It's an expression that's used, capital, with a capital C, kill the clipboard. Instead of filling out the same tedious paperwork at every medical appointment, patients will simply be able to grant their doctors access to their records at the push of a button. Just a button and you're all set, and all the information the doctor needs will be immediately transmitted. The system will be entirely opt-in, and there will be no centralized government-run database, which everyone is always concerned about. I'm less concerned than anybody. I say whatever it is. But people are very, very concerned about the personal records. They want to keep them very quiet, and that's their choice. I think it's a great thing because it'll be absolutely quiet. Instead, doctors and patients will always remain in control. The benefits to millions of Americans will be enormous. We will save time, we'll save money, and most importantly, we'll save lives. It's just going to make people live longer and be a lot healthier. I think that's really what you're looking to do.
While Trump is saying this, again, the term, the expression you see on
Can I see your BRIC card, please?
I don't have one. I don't have a smartphone.
Can I get another pint, please? Sorry, sir. Your BRIC card says you've exceeded your alcohol quota for this week.
Sorry, sir. Your BRIC card says you've already flown twice this year. We're having to restrict passengers with higher than average emissions profiles.
Sorry, I'm afraid your funds have been temporarily frozen. Your recent social media post did not align with the government's narrative.
Sorry, I'm afraid your BRIC card says you cannot purchase any more meat this week as part of our commitment to achieving net zero.
I've just logged in using my BRIC card and it's saying I've already had 3 hours of internet today and it's locked me out.
music video is. Go to the next slide, operator. Listen. They are letting you know what's coming. Why put out such video? Why put this out? To instill fear? Right? To let you know it's not business as usual? All Christian, I should say, but only Christian. But according to him, what does he consider as Christian? Play the next. Go to the next.
What about Mormons? No, it's a cult. No, they don't believe that Jesus is the creator. They believe that he is the first created. They believe he's the first created, but not creator. They're non-Trinitarian. No, of course, they can't vote. They're not Christian. Jehovah's Witness, what about them? Nope, they're not Christian. Seventh-day Adventists, nope, they're not Christian. It is a cult. Okay, but what about Muslims? No way. What about Jews? No way. Hindus? No way. Atheists? No way. Well, what about white European descendants who worship Thor? No way. Christian, that's first. People will spend money on plenty of things that are not virtuous. And so, so I don't want a perfectly free market. I want the state first. I want the state to be Christian, which we currently don't have. But I want the state to be Christian. Separation of church and state, that's fine. But separation of Christ and state, no way. There is a God above the state, or else the state is God. And so I would like the true God, the one that actually exists, the triune God, to be the head of the state. And then, assuming that, a Christian state, I want that Christian state to be able to govern even economic affairs, and not necessarily in a meticulous way, not in a way that's overbearing, but absolutely, I want the state to be able to come in and say, I see you have a business here called OnlyFans. Right. That's shut down. Oh, but the people want it. Oh, yeah, but the people are retarded. That's shut down.
The people are retarded? The people are retarded? Are we awake yet? Well, it gets even deeper than that. It gets much, much, much deeper. Doesn't matter, Latino, doesn't matter. It will affect everybody, but this is giving us a taste of what is coming. Go to the next slide, operator. Listen.
Hey, cut it out. You need to grow up, stop throwing a fit. You're throwing a tantrum, stop being a little boy. You're whining and crying about something that's ultimately your fault. Yeah, stop blaming it on other people. It's your fault. Because here's the deal. It's like, well, slavery. The richest black people on God's green earth are African Americans. If slavery never happened, then you would be in a grass hut. Yeah. All right, well, we need reparations. Your reparations are that you get to live in America. You're welcome. You're welcome.
You get to have the Christian religion, live better than your ancestors
ever would have. The greatest moment in history for any brown or black country is the moment that the white man's ships arrive on your shore. Because he brings the gospel of Jesus Christ, he catechizes you and your children, he brings exports, he brings hospitals, medicine, life expansion increases, GDP and resources increase, medicine increases, and most importantly, you get taught the gospel of Jesus Christ so that you can live longer on earth and then go to heaven instead of hell.
mercy, Lord.
Yes.
Yes, he is a pastor. Take it like a man. It's your fault, he said. Well, let's listen to part 2 of it. Listen carefully.
You know,
There was mistakes on both
there were
sides.
mistakes on both sides. Mistakes on both sides. No. That's not actually the solution. White people are sinners who need Jesus. Within white European history, there has been sin that has required the blood of Jesus. But on the whole, for 1,000 years, European people have been worshiping Jesus as sinners, but sinners saved by grace. And on the whole, non-European people, much of the rest of the world, has been worshiping demons. European people have been building cathedrals. Non-European people have been building grass huts. And for those who are of non-European descent, but live in the Western world, you are exceedingly blessed. And the response shouldn't be, let's push back against wokeness and just say, nobody talk about race. No, the response should be, stop whining. Stop throwing a fit. Get it together. God has blessed you, and he blessed you in large part through white people. So stop doing it. And also, as for you and your house, do your part to change the FBI crime statistics and stop killing people.
I see your Brit card, please?
I don't have one. I don't have a smartphone.
Can I get another pint, please?
Sorry, sir. Your Brit card says you've exceeded your alcohol quota for this week.
Sorry, sir, your Brit card says you've already flown twice this year. We're having to restrict passengers with higher than average emissions profiles.
Sorry, I'm afraid your funds have been temporarily frozen. Your recent social media post did not align with the government's narrative.
Okay, pause there. Remember, this is an illustration based on the Brit card, digital ID. Remember what it says here, one more time? Sorry, your account has been frozen because your recent post on social media did not go along with the government narrative. Well, let me show you something that happened to a man who posted something that did not go along with the government's narrative. Tunisian sentenced to death for
Sorry, sir. Your Brit card says you've exceeded your alcohol quota for this week.
Sorry, sir, your Brit card says you've already flown twice this year. We're having to restrict passengers with higher than average emissions profiles.
Sorry, I'm afraid your funds have been temporarily frozen. Your recent social media post did not align with the government's narrative.
Sorry, I'm afraid your Brit card says you cannot purchase any more meat this week as part of our commitment to achieving net zero.
I've just logged in using my Brit card and it's saying I've already had 3 hours of internet today and it's locked me out.
Those men, how they are talking about this. Keep in mind, it's a religious battle. Listen.
Let's say that somebody was coming into our church and they're black, and would they be eligible for membership in our church? Yes, they of course they would. They'd be eligible for membership in our church. But would they be permitted to participate in, embody, and practice what I would call black culture generally in our church? The answer is absolutely not. Why? Because the characteristics that mark black culture as a generalization, in the same way Paul's talking about Cretans on Crete, they are evil, murderous, violent, bestial people. They steal, they kill, they destroy, they look like Satan in how they act. They are sinful to the core.
They look like Satan in how they act. All of those things will be said about, remember, they said the same thing about John the Baptist. They said the same thing about Jesus, Weinbieber,
He had a devil. He works for Beelzebub, the prince of the devil. Remember, all of those things were said about Jesus. Look at it from a spiritual point of view. As church and state are coming together, then they will marginalize. They will see true Sabbath keepers as the evil ones. They will see Sabbath keepers as the one responsible for the calamities that will increase.
They have besetting sins that are like fatherlessness, sexual immorality. They molest children at a high rate. All of any criminal statistic that you could look at, almost pretty much without exception, they excel at them. Black culture. So when we make this generalization, one of the purposes of it, one of the points of utility for it, is for black people who do not embody that culture to repudiate it, hate it, and also for policymakers to make the kind of political movements and in terms of law and order that would usher in the change over time of that culture. One of them would be something like, I tweeted about this, the law of Moses in Deuteronomy 21 concerning a rebellious child.
Concerning the rebellious child, who will be considered a rebellious person or a rebellious group? It will be Seventh Adventists. They will use Romans chapter 13 against us to obey the laws of the land. Understand how they are building a foundation here. The church, the religious leaders, those pastors are appealing to the state to use, according to what the Bible says, the death penalty against that man. We are here, a time of trouble such as never was. Listen again.
If 5 to 6% of black, I think it's something like 5% of black males are murderers. Think about that.
Yeah, 5% of young Africans are committing the bulk of the murders.
So if you had 100 black men in
America,
a room, even just, I think specifically, if you had 100 black men in a room, 5 of them would have committed murder, which is a lot.
Wow.
Quite a few.
One, as Matt Walsh pointed out, the actual number of blacks who are committing murder is more than
whites.
Right. And whites are significantly greater.
60% compared to 13%
percentage of the population. Yeah.
So if you take that, and then you took a law like Deuteronomy 21, which is a just law that God enacted through Moses. The law was that if you had a rebellious son, you have a child they're coming up into their manhood and they're rebellious, they don't listen. He lists some characteristics and even though they're disciplined, they will not turn. He says the fathers to bring them out into the town square. This is a rebellious son, and then they stone him to death. They kill him.
And an armed robber would certainly be one of those.
Oh, absolutely. Armed robber, all the ghetto culture.
Violent crimes.
Basically, take ghetto culture, it would describe this to a T. If you did that over 3 generations, how much violent crime would you have in the 3rd and 4th generation? Much, much less. What we've done instead is we've actually, with unjust weights and measures, we have wildly penalized whites for even virtuous acts in lawfare. And we have done everything because the liberals have appointed blacks to positions of power and they're practicing ethnic and racial in-group preference. Like the several black women who were involved in releasing DeCarlos, the murderer in the Charlotte.
I think 14
times.
Yeah, something like that.
His younger brother was a murderer in prison. His father was a violent criminal. Okay, so there's 2 sons and a father. If they'd cut that line off back the generation or 2 before, there's no DeCarlos to slit the throat. But what we have instead are, in this case, the double whammy of black female judges, politicians who have appointed these sorts of people.
The mayor of Charlotte, for example.
The mayor of Charlotte. Like, if you look at who appointed the judge and the judge that released him, it's 2 black women. Okay, and what did they do? They said, oh, it's mental health, it's homelessness, it's this, it's that. It's not a criminal tendency of black males that needs to be cut off through the wielding of the sword by the civil magistrate.
Oh, brothers and sisters, use a crisis or something to bring about their real agenda later on. They don't always come forward to tell you, well, we want to enact Sunday law. We want to have the same system that Nebuchadnezzar had in Daniel 3, Daniel 6. The same system that the world saw and experienced for a period of 1,260 years, Dark Ages. They don't want to come out to say that, but they use a crisis, like in the case of the Ukrainian girl who was assassinated, murdered on that train. The Charlie Kirk thing. They use something to justify why they want to have church and state unification, the death penalty, even public execution. So this is coming from the Christian nationalists, the far-right Christian nationalists. Once again, they said they blame the murder on black culture and called for rebellious young black men to be executed by the state in accordance with the Bible. This is something that we have been seeing over and over again. America, history of oppression. It's your fault. Christian nationalist Joel Webben, Texas-based pastor, used a recent episode of his Right Response Ministries podcast to tell black people to stop whining about the oppression they have suffered throughout American history. Well, let me allow him to continue to tell you.
Hey, cut it out. You need to grow up. Stop throwing a fit. You're throwing a tantrum. Stop being a little boy. You're whining and crying about something that's ultimately your fault. Yeah. Stop blaming it on other people. It's your fault. Because here's the deal. It's like, well, slavery. The richest black people on God's green earth are African Americans. If slavery never happened, then you would be in a grass hut. Yeah.
In other words, slavery was a good thing. Let's continue.
All right, well, we need reparations. Your reparations are that you get to live in America. You're welcome. You're welcome.
You get to have the Christian religion.
That's
live
right.
better than your ancestors
The greatest moment in history for any brown or black country is the moment that the white man's ships arrive on your shore.
Wow. Wow. Because he brings slavery?
Because he brings the gospel of Jesus Christ. He catechizes you.
Which gospel? Slavery? I thought Luke 4 says Jesus came to set the captive free.
You and your children. He brings exports. He brings hospitals, medicine, life expansion increases. GDP and resources increase, medicine increases, and most importantly, you get taught the gospel of Jesus Christ so that you can live longer on earth and then go to heaven instead of hell.
So therefore, slavery was your fault. Stop whining. Cut it out. Stop throwing a tantrum. Stop being a little boy. You're whining and crying about something that's ultimately your fault. Stop blaming it on other people. It's your fault. Once again, brothers and sisters, let's look at this from a spiritual point of view. As he says also, Joel Webben says that only Christians should have the right to vote. And according to him, who is a Christian? According to Webben, who is a Christian? Who is a real Christian? Keep in mind, slavery will not be something about skin color only. It will be something about religious affiliation.
What about Mormons? No, it's a cult. No. No, they don't believe that Jesus is the creator. They believe that he is the first created. They believe he's the first created, but not creator. They're non-Trinitarian. No, of course, they can't vote. They're not Christian. Jehovah's Witness, what about them? Nope, they're not Christian. Seventh-day Adventists. Nope, they're not Christian. It is a cult. Okay, but what about Muslims?
And anyway, Seventh-day Adventists, they're not Christian. It is a cult.
Seventh-day Adventists. Nope, they're not Christian. It is a cult.
They cannot vote. It is a cult.
Okay, but what about Muslim?
Yeah, same category as well. They're not Christian. And what else he wanted to say? Joel Webben calls for the execution of Charlie Kirk's assassin to be nationally televised. Nationally televised. everybody that they consider as a cult soon and very soon will be responsible for the calamities, for the wars, for the immoralities. And to stop God's fury upon the earth, they will call for public execution to make an example of Seventh Adventist Sabbath keepers to stop this. Do you see where we are, brothers and sisters? It's your fault, they will say. Well, listen to him.
If it is a murder, a capital crime that happens at a national level with a public national figure, as it did occur in the case of Charlie Kirk, then I believe that that capital punishment, it should be just, fair trial, swift, right? If justice is delayed, Deuteronomy says, then evildoers will spring up. They'll take that as a license to do more evil. Look, somebody got away with murder. So it needs to be proportional justice. It needs to be fair justice. There's a fair trial. It needs to be swift justice, not delayed. And if it's a public national crime, like the case of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, then that justice should be carried out publicly. What do I mean? I'll speak in no uncertain terms. I believe that Charlie Kirk's murderer should be put to death and that his execution should be publicly, nationally televised.
Publicly, nationally televised. That's what happened during the Dark Ages. Men like Jerome, Huss, they were burned at the stake. It was a public event. During the French Revolution, the guillotine was introduced for public execution. This will be used against Sabbath keepers in these last days.
Nobody has to tune in. Nobody has to watch. Parents with children, you don't necessarily need to put your kids in front of the TV and make them open their eyes. But I do think that that execution, that capital punishment for a capital crime with a national level crime, that justice should be carried out nationally. And
what will they call a national crime? When Sunday is legislated as the law of the land, and those who dare to violate it will be accused of violating the law of the land, and that would be a national crime. Now, those are not my words. That's what Revelation chapter 13 says, that those who do not worship the image of the beast, those who do not receive the mark of the beast, should be killed.
Publicly, where everyone is able to witness it if they so desire.
We all saw him get shot.
That's
Most of us picked up our phone, be it Twitter, be it Instagram. We saw the crime took place.
That's
we
right.
were exposed to it. So in the same way that justice proportionally would literally be, again, in front of everyone, here's the wickedness he did. You all saw it.
That's right.
Here's the justice being administered.
It's good for the public to see if they so desire. That's up to them, their own volition. But more importantly, arguably, it is good for others who have murderous hearts, who may be thinking of carrying out wicked deeds against conservatives, against Christians. It's good for them to see.
Oh, brothers and sisters, who else? They've all been singing the same tune, those Christian nationalists. Who else been saying this? Well, even the Charlie Kirk that many Adventists have embraced as one of their brothers.
Well, execution here was in 2019, and it was by firearm.
Yeah, that's how you should. By the way, this is my other problem with death penalty. It takes too long, too many appeals.
Expensive.
It should be public. It should be quick. It should be televised.
Well, this can't be right, can it? The last execution in France was guillotine in 1977.
100% true. They used the guillotine.
Until 77?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Did you hear it? 100% they use the guillotine. Oh, really? That's so cool. Did you hear it? He said, that's so cool. Listen again.
The last execution in France was guillotine in 1977.
100% true. They used the guillotine.
Until 77?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Did you hear it? Those are Christians. He's saying that's so cool that France used the guillotine. Do you remember what Revelation chapter 11 says about the French Revolution? What was so cool about it? It was God's people, mainly who were being targeted during the French Revolution. So you have Charlie Kirk and his crew there saying, that's so cool that France used the guillotine. That's so cool, they say. Revelation chapter 11 describe the cruelty that God's people faced during that time as the beast that came up from the bottomless pit. As Revelation 11 verse 3 says, and I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth, meaning persecution. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devour their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. And then the Bible says, and when they shall have finished, that's in verse 7, Revelation 11. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. What was a beast from the bottomless pit? That was France. France waged war against the 2 witnesses. Yet we are hearing Charlie Kirk and his crew are saying, oh, that was so cool that France used the guillotine to execute people. And Seventh Adventists are still promoting the lies of Charlie Kirk. Listen again.
The last execution in France was guillotine in 1977.
100% true. They used the guillotine.
Until 77?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
There's videotape of it.
Honestly, that's like what we should be doing, and I agree. It should be public
And
should be public square.
By the way, you could fund
Force
the
kids
government
to watch it.
You could have like brought to you by Coca-Cola. And no, I'm not kidding. By the way, I would totally tune in to see some pedo get their head chopped off. Convicted by a jury of peers.
That's gonna get.
No, I'm talking about a real thing. I'm not talking
all
about
executions in Belarus are by firearm. That's not a choice or anything.
Andrew's saying don't make kids watch it, and I think no, the absolute
I think
opposite.
at a certain age, it's an initiation.
16, if you can drive, you can
No,
watch
but hold
it.
on.
Not
You
even
see,
16,
if
I would
all of a
say-
sudden you look at some of these savages, like in Indiana, there was this guy that went in and killed a pregnant woman and her 3 kids.
Yeah.
And you know what? I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day better. I want to see him on a public block and get him be publicly executed. And I think that would be justice.
Publicly executed. That's so cool. We are told. Well, brothers and sisters, it's coming. Let me show you a threat here. Trump's Grim Reaper from Project 2025 to shut down enforcer. I have a meeting today with Russ Vought. He of Project 2025 fame. Trump posted. Now the time has come.
Hear the powers.
Here the power's gone. There's Trump.
Food is the reaper.
Russ is the Reaper.
And the brain. Here comes the
Remember, he's the author of Project 2025. Here comes the Reaper. Oh, brothers and sisters.
Here comes the reaper. Baby, and your plan.
Here comes the Sunday law. Let's put it this way. Here comes the dark ages once again. Here comes the dark ages once again. What you have here, brothers and sisters, is nothing more than their dead body shall lie in. Brothers and sisters.
Here comes the reaper. Baby, and your plan.
Here comes the Sunday law. Let's put it this way. Here comes the dark ages once again. Here comes the dark ages once again. What you have here, brothers and sisters, is nothing more than what the Bible describes. It's atheism and licentiousness combined that will make war against God's people, as it says in Revelation 11, verse 8, and their dead body shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Notice again, it says, which spiritually, so it's a spiritual battle. It's not really about skin color. It's a spiritual battle. Yes, skin color can play a part of that, but the main battle is a religious one. Just like it was 2,000 years ago, just like it was during the Dark Ages. Are we ready for this? Listen to what Spirit Prophecy says. I am instructed to say to our people throughout the cities of the South,